Tomorrow, MPs will get their first chance to debate and vote on controversial government proposals that would override elements of the Brexit withdrawal agreement already hammered out with the European Union. It will be a first major indication of backbench sentiment for Boris Johnson, as Number 10 seeks the power to change or ignore rules relating to the movement of goods between Britain and Northern Ireland. Several Tory MPs are unhappy this would break international law. But today, the Justice Secretary, Robert Buckland, said the proposals were an emergency Brexit insurance policy if Brussels acts in an unreasonable way during trade talks and insists on excessive checks on goods. Here's our chief political correspondent, Vicki Young.
A lot's changed since Brexit Day. Crowds can no longer gather, but the arguments have reignited since the government announced it would pass a law overriding parts of the legally binding treaty which laid out the terms of our departure. In a sign of how tense things have become, the EU's chief negotiator took to Twitter. Michel Barnier said Boris Johnson had agreed a delicate compromise to protect peace and stability on the island of Ireland. It means Northern Ireland will follow some EU rules. His British counterpart, Lord Frost, hit back, complaining that the EU's position meant it would be automatically illegal for Northern Ireland to import food products from other parts of the UK. Government ministers say they need an insurance policy to make sure that doesn't happen.
We hope very much never to have to use this. It's a break the glass in emergency provision if we need it.
But they're not denying that giving UK ministers the power to change the withdrawal agreement breaks international law. How could any Justice Secretary stand by and let that happen?
Is that the moment that Robert Buckland resigns from the government, if we break international law itself?
If I see the rule of law being broken in a way that I find unacceptable, then of course I will go. We are not at that stage.
4 years ago, these two former Prime Ministers campaigned against Brexit. Today, Sir John Major and Tony Blair joined forces again, writing in the Sunday Times that the government's action was irresponsible and questioned the very integrity of our nation. Ireland's Foreign Minister agrees.
The British government, in my view, is behaving in an extraordinary way, and British people need to know that because outside of Britain, where this issue is being discussed now, the reputation of the UK and Britain as a trusted negotiating partner on important issues like this is being damaged in a very serious way.
Tomorrow the action returns to Parliament. Several Conservative MPs have said they can't support a bill that breaks the law. Now, lots of this feels very familiar, doesn't it? A Brexit debate, a government being criticised by some of its own MPs, by lawyers, by former Prime Ministers and by the EU. But Downing Street doesn't seem too bothered about resurrecting these old arguments. They see it as a dividing line between those who want the best for the UK and those who've never wanted Brexit. But be in no doubt, this is high stakes stuff. I think the government can get through that vote tomorrow. It can keep many of its own MPs on side. But even some ministers I've been speaking to do wonder what they've unleashed.
OK, Vicky, thank you. Vicki Young there at Westminster.